Well, you better get ready for this one, girls and boys, because this one is that long one. She's almost, well, she is. She's 5 minutes and 30 seconds almost. So I'm going to tell you, but this is me doing a new design. I've had several people in my comments say, why don't you make a sleeve list, make something for summer? And so I was just going to try something. And then I had one gal put in the comment, look here at my shirt that I made. You can use it as inspiration. Well, honey, this is what I was working on. So I was working on it, and our minds were linked up somehow. So anyway, I messed up on this a couple of different times. So I had to unpin it several times. See, there was the first unpinning. And what I did was I cut the bottom off and took the bottom. Instead of putting it in the collar, y'all, I put it around the sleeve. So I didn't cut the sides off of this because this puppy is already an extra small. So it is a tiny, tiny, it's for a little old tiny person. And that person's not me, but I'm going to tell you what, it is for somebody. So what I did was I just kept looking and looking. Here's how I decided how I was going to put that on, okay? What I decided was I was going to pretend, what if I flipped it out after I sewed it? What would it look like? See, I just did it. It's like magic. And then that's how I decided I got it right. And then I was like, okay, nope, that was wrong. So I had to undo it and do it again. I mean, I did it 4 or 5 times. When you're trying a new little design, honey, you got to pretend like it's already sewn and then flip it over and see if it'll really work. But that's what I did. And this is how this one's done. So I just kept going back and forth. Now I did put me some little pleats up at the top because the bottom of that shirt was still too long even around them sleeves. I'm telling you, this was a extra small. This is an extra small, and probably even an extra extra small. Either one of those will work. Okay, so I'll take the sleeves off, and I'm like, but what am I going to do for the collar now, y'all? And then it hit me like lightning. I decided I'm going to use the cuffs. And sure enough, I just thought about it and thought, well, will it look cute? I don't know if it'll look cute. Can I do it? And then I decided, you know what? It'll wrinkle up pretty. And so I just did a little cute pinning just to see. And I thought, yeah, it worked. And it does. So I just went in, put that little cuff in there. And I'm going to tell you, it's a new little design that I'm loving. It's different. It's different. And it's fun. It's fun. And it's almost as good as banana pudding, but it's not as good as banana pudding. I'd rather have that. And today, in the middle of me sewing, while I'm putting that up, I had me an Oreo Blizzard because I was a craving one. So anyway, that doesn't mean, that's not why you're here to know that I was eating the Oreo Blizzard, but I did, and it made me more productive, I think. See, because when I sat down over here, I get to sewing, and now I've got my belly full, and I feel very good about sewing this. So I just sew that collar on, then I take them pins out, and I just make sure I say, did I do it right? And sure enough, I did. So I'm going through and trying to get rid of some of them strings. But those strings are character, y'all. I've told y'all once, I've told you twice. I've taken off the brassiere of this sewing machine, and I had to think about it. I thought, well, how am I going to sew these sleeves? Because this is not how I normally do it. So I imagined sewing it and then flipping it over, and then I messed my needle up, and I thought it was done, but it wasn't. It wasn't done until I was able to continue on and sew it just as nice and good and tight as I could. And I just kept thinking, will this work? Will this work? Will it come out all right? And while I was thinking that, I was praying. I did a little praying in there, I'm not going to lie. And then I flipped it over and I thought, boy, that's cute. I did all right. So then I did the other side and thought, okay, I'm not going to have to unsew this. I don't even know how you unsew it, but it's ripping the seams out, but I didn't have to. I just kept it going. And I feel like a seamstress of sorts, but not good enough to do it for a living, okay? But this is something I did. See, I pulled the shirt inside out, and I sewed those two together so there wouldn't be a flap underneath. Although you could put that flap under there and it would be airy, and you get your little air in there. But I didn't want to, so I just flipped it out and sewed where the two pieces met. I just sewed them right together, and I thought, that is a winner. So I'm going to lay it out, see my masterpiece. But before I could see it, I had to crinkle scissor all those things off because nobody wants all that extra fabric. I've just decided I don't want the extra fabric, and it'd probably feel weird under your underpits. So I decided, let's not do that. So as I'm cutting, I'm sitting there thinking, I think this turned out. I think it turned out. So I just decided to lay her out, make sure she did turn out, make sure the sleeves worked. And I just was so tickled that I went over there and hemmed up the bottom. And when I hemmed it up, I was just inside floating inside because I thought I did this shirt. I made this with my bare hands. Mama Bear made a shirt with her bare hands. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. So I'm excited to show y'all what this looks like. Y'all should try this one too. You really should. You can go to Instagram and look at Shop Lori Hill photo and see, but look at that. Girls and boys, that's a cute one. I think she turned out fabulous. She's a great little summer edition. Look at her. And she's an extra small.